just about to start this challenge. We're in the final stage of setting it up. And so today we will be featuring Jeff, the Definitive Edition, in the top left. In the top right, we'll have Romulus. In the lower left, we'll have MrTKettle, and bottom right, we'll have Znernicus. So right now, in the standings, we have the only one who has any points right now between these four runners is Jeff, because the other three weren't able to make it to last challenge. Jeff finished in 5th place with 30 balloons, but it was really close. The top 5 was really close last time. We had 34, 32, 31, 31, and 30. But we know that MrTKettle and Znernicus, who missed the challenge Saturday, are two runners to be looking for in this challenge series. Znernicus, I think, needs no introduction. He is the GOAT. He currently has the Nintendo 64 world record in 101%, and I believe he still has no levels early as well. He probably is a favorite for winning the whole challenge series, but we will see how he does in this challenge. It's his first time playing. MrTKettle he's a relatively new runner, but he's been getting very good in 101%, and he did the entirety of the first DKCS in the last couple of weeks in preparation for this. And he also did the first challenge offline, not offline, but like after it was raced the first time, and ended up getting a result that would have gotten first place until Znernicus got even better doing the same thing. So TKettle and Znernicus definitely are runners to look out for. Romulus and Jeff are also, going to be very interesting to watch. Jeff was surprisingly he pulled off a really strong performance in week one, not week one, on Saturday, I mean, and he was leading the race for most of it. I think with that, we should be ready to start, right?
We are ready to start. The rules are in the Discord, so the
Okay,
runners are
looks
free to
like,
open it once the timer begins.
all right. I am starting the race. And here we go. We got 10 seconds to start. I am starting the race. And yeah, we'll do this. And if you could please share screen, that would be helpful.
We'll do. Is it started?
And here we go. We just started.
All right, so we're gonna bring up the challenge rules really fast now that everyone's a go.
Also move the timer when you can.
This is called the odd count. The objective is to have 7 different odd numbers as numerators on the total screen, and first to finish will win.
That's it. Really simple.
Really simple.
This is going to be all about routing and choosing which collectibles that you will prioritize over the others. Yeah. So very probably one of the simplest DKCS challenges ever.
Yeah, probably.
It's yeah. It's just going to be a matter of routing on the fly, getting those collectibles, and all right. So we are most runners. Well, I think everyone just is going to be focused on thinking which items they want to prioritize and just focusing on doing their training barrels. The first 5 minutes is going to be, training barrels, probably getting the fairy camera for rainbow coins if they need moves. Maybe someone will skip the camera. And then we'll see if anyone wants to go for organic Kongs. Just go to Japes, go to Aztec, free all the Kongs this way. Or if they want to go to Aztec and then straight to Castle, to do Castle Kongs to get everyone quicker. And then the other option is a bit of a wild one, but it would be just to start like just getting a bunch of stuff with DK only and focus on just like getting keys and getting his getting crowns and getting medals and stuff with only DK. That would be another possible strategy. I wonder if we'll see anyone doing that. So on the total screen, there are in total 8 different items, but we are asking for seven different odd numbers. The basically the main thing is that the 2 special coins, Nintendo and Rareware coin, there's only one of them. So by getting one, then that's like one odd number. You have one. And so everything else, you have crowns, keys, medals, blueprints, golden bananas, and fairies will have to be a different odd number that's, bigger than one. So you need, ideally, you would want to have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13 of some items. And so each runner will be choosing which item are they getting 3 of, 5 of, 7 of, and etc.
One thing to point out is that blueprints actually don't even turn up on the total screen until they're turned in. So you actually
Right.
have to get more golden bananas than blueprints.
And maybe some people will find that the hard way. That is
Yeah.
possible. Looks like most people just went for Fairy Island, but we see... Was that... Did I see 2 people going for KLMZ, or am I crazy? Well, Romulus is in KLMZ, so it looks like he will be going for Organic Kongs. He will be headed straight to Japes to free Diddy and just start that way.
It is smart to
And...
get Banana Fairy Island over with as soon as possible, though, because you are going to need to take pictures of fairies. So,
Right. Yeah, there's no way you can skip the camera, you're right. I was thinking solely of rainbow coins for Shockwave, but
right.
the camera is going to be required for fairies, and we
Yeah.
see TKettle already has a fairy. So yeah, the basically a lot of the strategy is going to be choosing which items you're getting and like how many of each item you're getting. The So between the Nintendo coin and the Rareware coin, it's actually like fairly obvious that I would be very surprised to see anyone going for the Rareware coin, because the requirement for Rareware coin is 15 medals, and it's just too long. Nintendo coin has way fewer requirements. It's just going to factory and beating 2 rounds of arcade. If you can do round 1 skip, it's even like just 1 round of arcade.
As much as it would be like way less of a good idea to do rare coin, I do kind of hope that we see someone do it today. It would just be
Right.
so fun for the route, differences that we
Maybe
could see.
the 15 medals is going to be kind of an incentive to just like get 15 medals as one of the odd numbers and
Yeah.
get the Nintendo coin, get the rare coin, so that you can get like only 11 golden bananas or something. But
If you
you know
were to
we
numbers wise, if you were to do this optimally, you would have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. So
right.
hopefully, optimally, we wouldn't see anyone get 15 of anything, but I could see someone thinking, hey, there's some synergy in getting 15 medals and a rare coin. Let's try to do it.
Yeah. And also, I could definitely see some people getting more GBs than they actually like the minimum required, and just ending up on 15, 17, 19 GBs.
That as well. Especially
That
because
is
there's a really good chance that it takes at least one person a while to realize that they've gotten too many GBs and now they have all these blueprints to turn in.
So, right. I wanted to talk about how we don't know exactly how many of each thing each runner is choosing for now, of course, but we did think about like what seems like a reasonable choice. So like we said, Nintendo Coin is most likely going to be everyone's choice over Rare Coin. Hello?
Hi, can I ask a question?
Uh, Usually you can DM us so you don't pop in the voice, but go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry, I'll just DM you instead.
Okay, that works.
Um, right, the usually the Nintendo Coin, like I think, will be everyone's choice over Rare Coin, and then you have for keys. Keys would be a good choice for 3 or 5, but 7 would probably be a bit of a bad idea. Because there's only 8 keys in total. By the time you get over 5, you start having to fight bosses that take a long time. Um, so yeah, so keys 3 or 5 is probably going to be most people's choice. Then you have crowns. Crowns have a maximum of 10. So you could theoretically go for 3, 5, or 7. It would be a bad choice to go for 9 because then you'd have to go for really slow crowns. For medals, medals tend to be a little longer to get. So usually I think it would be a good idea to go for 3, 5, or 7. Above 7, you would start having to spend a lot of time getting medals. And then you've got fairies, blueprints, and GBs left. I think that these would probably be most people's choices for 9, 11, and 13. There's 20 fairies, and a lot of them are fairly quick to get. Once you get over 10 fairies, that's where it starts getting a little slower to get those fairies. So I think 9 or 11 is a good choice. And then you've got blueprints and GBs. Blueprints have to be lower than GBs, so they're likely to be 11 and 13. But, we could see all sorts of interesting choices from anyone. Um, so let's see. I haven't been looking at what the runners have been doing in that time. I think we do see some. I think is that. So I think Znernicus has got key 5 in reset, and TKettle just got key 5. Is that true?
I think Znern also got key 2.
Right, and TKettle is going back for key 2.
Yeah. Key 5 and key 2 are
Oh,
easily the smartest keys to be getting right off the bat.
the total screen is the one when you pause and you press Z once, you access like a kind of like a spinning wheel of all the main collectibles. And it has 8 different things. Oh, we just saw Romulus check it. He had 1 golden banana on it.
The other thing to point out is that you actually can't view the total screen until you have 1 golden banana. So it would
Right.
help them to get a golden banana as fast as possible.
All right. So
Jeff is going for this stealthy snoop.
okay. I was replying to questions at the same time. Sorry. Okay, so we got right. Tea Kettle getting key 2. Znernicus headed to probably castle. We got Romulus in a crown. Jeff on a bonus barrel. That's interesting, actually.
I do think it's going to take a good amount of runners a little bit to realize that they should be putting most of their GB eggs in the blueprint basket.
Right. Yeah, I think that it's probably going to be a surprise to some people, at least, that the blueprints only appear on the total screen once they're actually turned in, which makes it so. Like, if you're getting Nintendo Coin, then you have 1 golden banana that's implied. That's going
That
to be
as
for
well.
free because you need that to get the Nintendo Coin. You need to first get the DK Arcade golden banana. And then whatever amount of blueprints you get, you're probably going to get 2 more golden bananas, maybe 4 more. So you only actually have to get 1 or 3 golden bananas extra from all the ones that you're gonna be getting from turning in the blueprints. So golden bananas are actually like by far the least valuable collectible in all of this.
Yeah. I would also say that organic Kongs might actually be the way to go for this.
It's definitely a viable strategy.
There's not a whole
We
lot of
also
reasons
talk
that you would need all 5 Kongs.
right, and we were talking about a potential strategy of going to Helm with DK and getting his medal and 2 fairies and the key that way.
No, it should
Actually,
not say
3
challenge
fairies.
2. Thank you for that observation.
Right.
I'll fix that.
Also, I think you might want to resize Romulus's capture a little bit because the top right corner was cropped.
The top right corner?
Yeah. Or maybe just the top was cropped. All right, so... Okay, I'm back to this. Sorry, I was having trouble with my single screen.
Oh, you're right. Hopefully this is a bit better.
Okay, we got Jeff picking up keys as well. Yeah, that should be good. I think you're good now.
How many Kongs have we seen freed so far? We know Romulus has Diddy.
Right. I think that might be... Is that the only one yet? Jeff is still on DK only. Znernicus just entered cutout, so he's going to free a bunch of Kongs, but he hasn't started yet. And TKettle... I don't think TKettle has freed anyone. All right, so as the runners will start, getting further into their run, the prediction for which of these 4 runners do you think will win is going to close soon, so make sure you get your vote in. And, right, so it's going to be a little difficult to actually follow how much stuff each runner has. But we will see once they're done. They're gonna check the totals, and we're gonna see everyone's totals. Looks like Jeff is just maximizing how much he can get done in the first Aztec visit. All right, so we were gonna throughout the race we're gonna ask a little bit each runner, we're going to ask them about how they are approaching this challenge. And I got a reply from Romulus and TKettle. So whenever we want, we can ask them how they are going to do this.
Do you think now's a good time to maybe bring in one of them?
Right. Someone who's doing something simple. TKettle's doing Castle
Kettle's
Cones right
doing,
now.
yeah. Castle Cones is a good one.
Alright, I'm gonna drag him in. Mornin.
Mornin.
You're muted on Discord, by the way.
Morning.
So, what are your current thoughts on the challenge, and how do you think you're gonna approach the numbers?
Well, my this is okay. I was trying to phase walk. My initial problem was I had to remember what was on the total screen, so I pulled up a video of my last one-on-one PB where I checked totals.
Good thing to start with.
So I did that, and I realized I was gonna do one key, but then I realized I gotta get a company coin, so that has to be my one. So I've tried to order them from what takes the longest amount of time. That's what I'm gonna get the least of. So my plan is to do 3 keys, 5 crowns, 7 medals, 9 fairies, and then 11 GBs and 13 blueprints. So that's the game plan right now. I probably should have. I don't think I need all my Kongs. I should have probably freed Lanky and Aztec, and I probably should have just did Lanky and Diddy. But we already reset it up Aztec, so it's too late for that. So I'm just doing Castle Kongs, and we're just gonna try and route it from there. My biggest worry is routing medals, because that's always a struggle for me. But other than that, I'm just gonna try and do the crowns and keys that I think are fastest, and just go from there.
Sounds like a firm game plan.
I gotta say, this is not what I was expecting with the
No?
hints. So
What were you expecting?
I really didn't know, honestly. This is a good challenge because it really tests your routing ability, which I'm not good at. But we'll see how it goes. So
I think a lot of.
Go ahead.
I was
Sorry,
just
go
gonna
ahead.
say, I think a lot of people had enough time to mull over the hint that we gave to figure out that the Batty Barrel Bandit was probably a misdirection.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
pretty confident in that. I wasn't sure that the 7s actually meant anything, but apparently they did. So, yeah, I did screw up some at the beginning. I don't know if you were watching my stream, but I died on Dogadon 1, so... But we're moving past that, so we're gonna see how it goes.
Oh, Cosmic has the really good
Alright,
strat. He would get 13 keys for this challenge.
Brilliant. Alright, we'll let you get back to your run, TKettle. Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Right.
good strategy generally, but he is going to have to find out at some point that he can't have more blueprints than GBs.
Right. Yeah, he was gonna go for 11 GBs and 13 blueprints. I hope that he does figure out at some point before the very end that they only appear once you turn them in, or else he is in for a rough surprise.
The worst that can really happen with someone who makes that decision is they just have to go get maybe like 4 extra blueprints. Or extra GBs, sorry. And there are a lot of fast ones around if they choose to go to a quick enough level.
Yeah, I think the worst that could happen for someone who does that is they would get something like, like 11 GBs, 13 blueprints, and then once they would realize they would have to turn in the blueprints, then they would be up to 24, so they would have to get 1 extra GB to get up to 25, so it's an odd number.
Yeah.
So I think that is what we might see for some people. Oh, right. I think the reason why I thought that the right corner was clipped was because I had something over it. Okay.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So Znernicus is out of castle. He has key 7, so he's up to 3 keys now. I think he has the entire Kong family as well. I don't think I've seen him get anywhere close to a medal, but he does have a couple fairies. And I think he's picking up his first golden banana here. Yeah, there we go. So it looks like Znern is not too concerned with golden bananas. Maybe he's already aware that he needs to turn in those blueprints before they count. And so he knows that he will not need to worry about golden bananas. At this point, if he just got the one in front of Jape's Lobby. If he just gets the one in Arcade for Nintendo Coin and turns in all those blueprints, then he should be good. Alright, I think it might be a good time to see what Romulus thinks about it. So I'm gonna drag him in. Mornin, Romulus.
Morning.
So what are your thoughts on the challenge? And maybe if you can talk us through your game plan a little bit.
Seems like a pretty straightforward challenge. Just kind of collecting things right now. I'm doing the organic Kongs route for the time being. Thinking of probably swinging by caves or castle to unlock later shop upgrades, but just kind of, well, first I need to remember what all's on the the total screen. We are allowed to ask what the items are, or how does that work?
It's already been posted in the
Okay.
Discord, I think.
So yeah, I saw 6 there.
Cool.
Is there supposed to be a 7th one? Because we need 7 different numerators. I'm just a little confused.
Right. I'm gonna post the other two.
Oh, there's 8. Okay.
Yeah, so in total there's 8, but you need 7 different odd numbers.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm pretty much just kind of playing it by ear for now. Gonna unlock some Kongs and see where I want to put the biggest numerators and go from there.
Solid.
Yeah.
See how much of my no levels early training has helped me. Probably not very much.
All right. Well, I think we'll let you go back to it.
All right. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank
luck.
you.
I didn't get an answer from Jeff and Znern. Maybe they're a little too busy right now.
Hyper focused. We have
yeah.
we have Jeff freeing Kongs right now.
I don't think I could drag him in anyway because he's disconnected from the voice chat altogether. But we could do Znern. Right. So you got on the totals, you got Nintendo coin, rare coin, crowns, golden bananas, blueprints, fairies, keys, and banana medals. And yeah, what Sursmac said is probably it's probably close to the optimal strategy that I could think of at least. But I could definitely see an argument for swapping medals to a lower number. Maybe like 5 medals, 7 crowns, or you could maybe even do 3 medals, 5 keys, 7 crowns. There could maybe be an argument for 9 blueprints, 11 fairies, but I think 9 fairies, 11 blueprints just makes more logical sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are several ways to approach it. We're hoping maybe someone goes the wild route and goes 15 medals so they can get the rare coin, but that would be wild.
The thing with choosing less crowns and less keys over less medals is that keeps you going to the least amount of levels. So
Right.
if you can free more Kongs and get more medals per Kong, per level, sorry, you're gonna be doing a lot of your stuff more in compact areas as opposed to having to run all over the map.
Yeah. Yeah, if you get 3 keys through Castle Kongs, then you might want to get like, Puff Toss and Armadillo 1, and so you could skip 2 medals or something. Or even 4 medals. So yeah, there are several, possibilities to choose from. I think the 357 group is definitely the one that has the most
Yeah.
potential for swapping around some collectibles.
I'm interested to see what moves people choose to buy. Znern's choosing to buy Gorillagon,
Ooh. All
which is
right. So
interesting.
Znern is buying moves. He said that it's a good time to do it.
All right.
Morning.
Morning.
So
So
we'd
I
like to
have thought
hear
about
your
it.
thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I kind of expected something like this.
Morning.
Morning.
Where it's like
Oh.
the items that are on the
So
total screen.
we'd
Oh,
like
can you
to
hear me
hear
first of
your
all?
thoughts. Yeah.
And you might need to mute my game
I muted
audio.
your game because it was
Thank you.
picking us all up.
Yeah. I actually kind of expected something sort of like this, where it might be like the items in the total screen, and you have to get like 1 through 7 of each. That was what I thought. This is very close to that. It's just odd numbers instead of 1 through 7.
Can I reveal we actually first had it 1 through 7,
That was
but
the
we
challenge
changed
at the
Wow.
first, yeah.
Interesting. Nice. Okay, so I had a pretty good read on it. And what I did to prepare was look at the memo board records for like 10 crowns, 20 fairies, 8 keys to try to get a sense of which of those 3 is actually like on average shorter than the others. Because they're all kind of close together. Yeah, so I'm dividing it as I'm getting 1 Nintendo coin, and then Jetpack I think is counted separately. So you like are forced to get 1 of either of the company coins, and then you can't like get 3 of a company coin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to use everything else on the total screen. So I'll get the Nintendo coin, and then I figure the next like worst thing would be the medals. So I'm gonna get 3 medals, and my plan is to do just the first 3 in Helm. I don't know if that's actually going to be the fastest option, but I kind of like how it sounds. It simplifies the routing too. And then the other thing that I'm working on is 5 boss keys. I will skip key 4, 6, and 3, I think. Wait, hold on a second. I'm doing the wrong thing. Just 101 muscle memory there for a second. I did the D-trans clip and then immediately went to shoot the balloons instead of the fairy. But yeah, and then the tough decision was 5 keys, 7 crowns, or 7 crowns. 5 keys, 7 crowns, or 5 crowns, 7 keys. I'm going with 5 keys, 7 crowns. Based on the memo board times for the respective 10 crowns and 8 keys. But
Sounds
I
like
think
you
those could be pretty close. And I
you went
worked
for
out
the hard data approach.
hard data approach. Yeah, exactly. So what do I have right now? I have 3 keys out of 5. I have 1 crown. I skipped Aztec, I skipped Castle, and my plan is to skip Fungi Crown, even though it's not a terribly long crown, but I can skip the entire visit to Fungi, because there's no key to be had. I don't think there's any other reason I have to go there. I think the toughest part is going to be making sure I get 9 fairies without going too far out of the way. But I'm doing like a full clear of Helm, essentially. 3 medals, the crown, the key, and the 2 fairies. Because that all works very well for this challenge, I think. I might need to turn in my blueprints before going to Helm, actually, just to make that safer. Yeah, that's a good idea. I also need to make sure I don't die to Armadillo here with 1 melon, so I will be watching my screen a little bit. But yeah, let me take another look at my notes. So yeah, 3 metal, 5 key, 7 crown, 9 fairy, 11 blueprint, 13 golden banana. And I realized that it's possible that I might get more golden bananas because you might be forced to get some to get fairies. But that's fine because just any odd number, I think, so I can get like 15 instead of 13, and that would be okay. But I'm pretty sure you have to turn in blueprints for them to show up on the totals. So every blueprint collected is a GB also. So GBs always has to be more than blueprints. And they're the quickest things, so that's why they're the highest numbers. I hope I thought everything through correctly.
I mean, you do sound like you gave it a lot of thought for just half an
Yeah.
hour. So
Yeah, I don't have everything exactly routed, but I know which items I'm getting. which is, well, not exactly. I need to figure out the fairies. That's the main thing that I'm still trying to work out. Like,
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I think we should probably leave you to it so you can focus
Yeah.
a bit on the routing. But
Thanks.
good luck
Good.
and very, very well thought out and planned route already. So
Thanks.
good luck.
All right. See you later.
All right.
Luck and
Good. So-
Znern is on it.
Yeah. We have 3 pretty different approaches, it feels like.
I was a little surprised to hear him go for only 3 medals and all of them in Helm, but you know, if it works out,
Yeah.
that's gonna be good for him. But like I'm thinking, like he just, you know, he just did the de-transform clip with Chunky and Japes, right? And he went for the fairy, but first he was shooting the balloons. If he just spent like 5 seconds to get those 4 bunches and then shot those 3 balloons, that's 50 already. I feel like just like Chunky's Japes medal would have been really, really quick to get, but you know, there's I think he probably just focused on this route and didn't even think twice about getting colored bananas and levels. So I think that's just what he's going to be locked in now.
Yeah. Also, the 7 crowns makes the Gorilla Gone purchase make a lot more sense.
Right. Yeah, he did say that he wanted to skip fungi entirely, but I'm wondering if I think he still wants to go to the lobby for the crown.
There's a fairy up there too.
Right, so he could get the fairy and the crown in the lobby without actually going in the level itself. I feel like it weakens this, like the synergy, I guess, of skipping fungi altogether if you're still going to the lobby. But
I am interested though, like based on the interviews, I'm actually really interested to watch Romulus kind of like, as he plays, figure things out. It's like we're gonna be watching the decisions happen live. There's lots,
Right.
yeah.
as long as he doesn't get to like 8 keys and realizes he no longer can get an odd number,
Yeah.
I don't think any runner would get stuck on that. That would be, you would kind of have to ask for it to soft lock yourself out of finishing this challenge.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do.
All right, so TKettle getting Lanky's medal in the castle with the crown. I think that's a really good pairing. Greenhouse is really good because you get so much progress on this medal and also a crown. You also get a GB, but like we mentioned, GBs are essentially worthless.
ROM's up to 7 GBs.
Right.
Oh, Jeff's
so I
turning
think
in blueprints already. This is good.
maybe he wants to verify if he needs to turn them into... Or maybe he has noticed that he doesn't see them on the total screen. If Romulus is already on 7 GBs, I think that he probably doesn't realize that he will need to turn in those blueprints to see them.
I feel like that's a little tidbit that not a lot of people realize or even know in general.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those little pieces of information that you can play this game for years and never actually notice it.
Exactly.
All right, TKettle finishing the greenhouse crown. I didn't notice which one Znern is doing, but it seems like it's a late level one. Ooh, DK. Oh, it's the caves one.
That's caves.
He just got knocked out of the caves one.
The TKettle just did the castle one.
Yeah, 7 crowns is definitely quite long because you feel like the first like 4 or 5 are really quick, and then you have to go for like really slow stuff. So he talked about getting the helm one. Helm is not that bad if you're already clearing a lot of the level, but the crown itself is 90 seconds. That's the longest in the game.
And it requires rocket barrel.
Right. Um, and the other options you have, like the longer options, are also if you go to fungi, um, then you have the fungi crown, which also is kind of like a soft requirement of rocket barrel because otherwise your other choice is to climb all the way up the giant mushroom, which takes about 15 years. And the crown itself is like a minute or more. Then you also got caves, which is 70 seconds. Castle, which requires a GB and is like 80 seconds. So yeah, there's a lot of these crowns that just get like really long to get, are locked behind golden bananas. The Aztec crown is locked behind a golden banana as well. So yeah, the once you get up to like 5, 6, 7 crowns, each crown is adding like 2 or 3 minutes to your timing. Okay, so yeah, Zern is definitely going to Fungi Lobby. He said he would skip the level. Maybe he's changed his mind on skipping the level after realizing that he needs to go to the lobby anyway. Because I could definitely see an argument for going to the Fungi Crown if he needs to get Rocket Barrel for the top of Helm anyway. Meanwhile, oh, is Jeff getting... I think Jeff is getting Diddy's medal in Japes. Another fairly sound choice for if you're getting medals. I think if you're focusing on getting like, 5 or 7 medals, you definitely want to stop by Japes with all the Kongs and get at least like 3, 4 medals there. DK, Chunky especially, I think are the 2 fastest. But Diddy and Lanky are also fairly quick. Tiny, I guess if you get Skew, you can get a lot of bananas quickly. Right, so we're in Fungi Lobby for Znern and Castle. TKettle is really going for golden bananas still. He does not know. Okay, he's getting DK's medal. That makes sense. But he also figured, hey, why not get also this golden banana? So he is fully unaware of the blueprints thing.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't think that getting like an extra 10 golden bananas is going to be that horrible. Because they're fairly quick to get. Like, if you just want to get 10 GBs across the whole game as you're getting a bunch of other stuff, I don't think you're sacrificing that much time. Like you saw, like he went there for the DK's medal anyway, and he spent an extra like 20 seconds getting that golden banana. So I don't think that like making that mistake with the blueprints and golden bananas is like automatically last place. I think it's going to be like maybe a 5-minute mistake. So he could definitely still place well. Ooh, ledge clip coming from Romulus to go to his... he's doing the Aztec crown, so he needs to go do the Vulture Golden Banana first. That's why he bought Grape Shooter. There we go. So a lot of times you would want to go to this temple as Diddy first, and melt the ice before you go do everyone else's stuff. But if you're just focusing on one Kong needs one thing, then you probably want to skip that step and just go straight for the ledge clip or torch push or some other method of clipping out of bounds. Ooh, yeah, so Znern did not go to Fungi. He just went straight for the lobby and then is moving on to Galleon. Galleon Crown.
Did you catch if he also got the fairy? I didn't catch it.
I didn't see, but I would guess he probably did. Especially since he was talking about maybe struggling with 9 fairies, so...
Oh, he didn't get the fairy, okay.
No fairy. Okay.
Maybe he doesn't have
Oh, yeah,
feather.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Maybe he's just figured out his 9 fairies. Because, you know, Helm is giving him 3. One outside the level and 2 by key 8. So, and then you get, like, you know, a free one by the Banana Fairy Island. I know he got at least 1 in Japes. Probably only 1 in Japes. So that's, like, just from that, that's already 5. And he got the one in Tree and Castle, that's 6. So at that point, like, you know, you got a couple fast ones. Like, he's probably getting this Galleon chest one, and he might be getting the 5-door ship one. So that would be already 8. So at that point, like, he's pretty good on fairies. He might just have decided that Fungi Lobby was not necessary.
Yeah, Jeff just got DK's medal in Japes. Oh, I thought TKettle was going to go to Helm, but I think he just used Monkey Port to get up to Factory.
Yeah, Helm is definitely a good level to go to in this challenge, but I don't think we'll see everyone go for it. I know I would be reluctant just because Monkey Port is expensive. There we go, nice picture of a balloon, reminiscing the previous challenge. TKettle in Factory. What do we think he's getting in Factory? I think probably a few GBs, and Lanky's medal is a good choice. DK's medal is a possibility, but I personally would not go for it. And, well, of course, in Factory, you will want to grab Nintendo Coin. That's a must for this challenge, pretty much. I don't think we were seeing anyone choosing Rareware over Nintendo Coin in this.
It doesn't look that way.
Romulus on 8 golden bananas. So I think, do we know if Jeff has realized that blueprints only show up once you've turned them in?
He's the only one.
Because I know
we've
he visited
seen
Snides, right?
turn them in. So I wish I had caught whether he checked his totals before he turned them in and realized they weren't appearing, or if that was just something he knew beforehand. I didn't catch it.
Right. So, because we know that for now, I believe Romulus and TKettle still don't know about the blueprints, but Znernicus told us that he...
Wait, is B-Locker code allowed?
Did someone ask for that?
Yeah, Znern. I already said no, but I can change it to yes.
I guess. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. It's not something I thought of thinking of. I don't think it should be disallowed.
It was allowed in the last one. I remember Adam using it. And it took me a second to realize that.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's not no levels early.
Did he catch me say that? I hope he did.
Oh, because you changed your mind. And
yeah.
You hope he didn't, like, look away. And...
Yeah.
That's an odd question coming from Znern. I wonder why he's asking it.
Rom's going for Lanky's medal in Factory. It looks like really great medal to go for. I think one of the better ones in the game. Lanky has really good medals in general.
Yeah, if you want to go for like just like the 5 fastest medals in the game, you got like 2 or 3 in Japes. Lanky's in Factory are like prime choices. And then maybe like DK's in Helm, especially if you already go there.
Yeah.
Diddy in Factory is also really fast, especially like if you had plans to go around the entire level already. Because climbing the block tower is like 25 if I recall correctly, and his room in the R&D is 3 balloons, so that's 55 right off the bat. And then he's got like another quick 15 in production room if you're visiting that early in the level, and then you just gotta get 5 somewhere. most likely the path to arcade or to funky would be the rest. So yeah, Diddy and Lanky are like two really, really good choices for factory.
Every single time I see TKettle pause, my eye jets to his corner to see if he's gonna check totals and figure out the blueprint thing yet.
Do we think we'll get some angry comments when some of these runners realize?
Yes. Yes, I do.
It's a bit of a niche knowledge, but again, I don't think it makes or breaks the performance in the challenge, so I think it'll be fine. We're closing in on 50 minutes in. I think Znern has made a lot of progress, but he still hasn't visited Helm, and he plans to basically full clear the level. So he definitely still has a ways to go. I think most runners are already sitting on like 3 medals or so, 2-3 medals. I had a moment wondering why TKettle was doing the factory boom blast.
We're gonna see the factory baboom blast probably 4 times.
Yeah, that is likely.
Everyone's in factory right now except Jeff, who's still turning in blueprints. I think he very much knows.
Yeah,
the blueprint thing.
I think he has to be aware at this point.
I think he's keeping up to date.
Ooh,
Nice fairy.
Missed fairy picture, yeah. That was a rough one. So in this challenge, fairy pictures are allowed.
Yeah.
So Znern is up to 6 now. So if he hasn't gotten the one next to Helm, he might actually have all the ones that he wants before going there. I'm guessing he wants to end the challenge in Helm. I think that's the sensible choice, unless he wants to revisit Aztec or something. Same fairy by... Oh wow, is that... That was a wild picture. I can't believe he got it that quickly.
Yeah,
Romulus
factory is a huge level for this. Really fast colored bananas. Obviously, it has one of the special coins.
Yeah, factory is definitely a must visit just for Nintendo coin in the first place. Ooh, Znern is going for the clip here, and it's not going very well.
Does he have O-stand for a backup?
That we don't know.
I don't know that I've actually ever seen him go for the O-stand as a backup.
I think he's capable of doing it, but might not feel comfortable with it right now. I don't know what he's gonna go for as a backup.
Oh, TKettle's doing the bad hit detection wheel for the GB fairy
Nice.
double.
Oh, he's going for the crown here. For
Jeff is going for uncrouched TBS.
Ooh, nice. So Jeff is headed to Helm, most likely. For a second, I thought that Znern had this crazy backup where he would navigate out of bounds to reach the arcade room, but then I realized there's no way he would do that as Lanky anyway. So, yeah, now I'm really curious to see what Znern plans on doing now that he's run out of oranges. Romulus on an odd number of golden bananas, 11, but I don't think he's turned in any blueprints yet, so yeah, he's definitely over collecting. Ooh, TKettle going for the orange clip now.
Oh, did he get it? Okay, Jeff got the uncrouched TBS.
Nice. So the thing is, if they don't get this clip, there's a couple things they can do. There's the ferry to refill your oranges. And then if you run out again, you can do an orange stand TBS to clip the wall and then tag DK. But if everything fails, like just doing round 1 of arcade is not gonna completely kill them. It's about 2 minutes.
It's a couple extra minutes, yeah.
So TKettle did get the orange clip in the end, so he's headed for the golden banana now, and if he grabs it, that's 2 minutes saved. Ooh. I think he just got scared a little bit. Oh no, he loaded the room. I think he was still fine actually before going in. He loaded the tunnel, but he didn't load the arcade room itself, and I think he was still fine just going for the golden banana, but I think he just thought he ruined it and went straight in for the playing the round 1. So that's really unfortunate. Spending all this time to get the orange clip and still having to play round 1 in the end. But at least he's in arcade. He's gonna get there eventually. Meanwhile, I really wonder what Znern is gonna do now. Did he refill oranges? Oh, did he just revisit the start of the level to pick up oranges so now he can go try some more? I'd be surprised if that's what he went for, but looks like that might be it. Yeah, he has 20 oranges.
Oh, Znern got that with 3 oranges.
Let's go. Okay, he does not lose any wounds.
Is TKettle doing round 1 right now?
Yeah, so
Right,
TKettle,
yeah, okay.
he did get the clip, but then he loaded the tunnel, and I think that he thought that ruined it, but I don't think it actually did.
One more quick question. Has Znern been turning in blueprints?
Znern has not turned in any blueprints yet, I believe.
Because he already has 7 GBs.
Oh, maybe he did turn in some then.
Oh my gosh, I thought TKettle was gonna get bonked by that spring.
We see Romulus also doing
bad
spinning
hit,
wheel for the ferry.
Bad hit detection.
And
Nice.
Jeff is in helm. Jeff turned in at least 6 blueprints already because he started with more than 15 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, do you think maybe he turned them in for helm and didn't actually realize that he needed to turn them in?
That's a possibility. Okay, so we see TKettle's almost finished with the first round of arcade. So, like, not getting that GB early is not that big of a deal.
Yeah. And
Although,
double
once
arcade?
you factor in... Yeah, double arcade indeed. Once you factor in, though, the fact that he's getting... Like, he's over-collecting golden bananas, it might start to add up and hurt his placing a little bit.
The other thing with the people who might not know that they have to turn in blueprints, if they don't realize that till the other end, or till they're at the end, if they are like, oh crap, I need to turn these in, and they turn them all in, they're gonna have an even number of bananas, aren't they? That's
yeah,
enough.
so they probably need,
so
to,
they
go
need to go
get
get
an
another
extra
one.
banana.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might finish on 25. Znern hopping about. Will we see 3 people at once in arcade? I don't think Romulus is headed there right away. I think he's going the crown first, and by then Znern will be done. nice shortcut. And Jeff is going. I'm assuming he's going for both fairies in the key. I don't think he went for. Wait, we're 2 minutes. I didn't notice if Jeff went for DK's medal, but he was doing switch kick 2 minutes ago,
Oh,
which makes
nice.
me believe he might not have done it.
There we go.
It's kind of odd because I feel like either he did get DK's medal and was really quick, or he didn't and was really slow. I'm not sure which is it. I wasn't paying attention.
Jeff turning the camera there to make sure he doesn't get fake key.
Right.
And
Look at the
Romulus
window.
just had a really good ladder clip to get into this factory battleground here.
All right, we get the fairies and the Nintendo coin for Znern and 100 meters for TKettle. Everyone is making very solid progress. I think that a lot of them. Oh, there we go. There's totals. So we got 5 fairies, 3 medals. I didn't see all of them, but I don't know if Jeff is going for any more. I'm assuming he's going for more than 5 fairies, but okay. I think Znern is about to turn in all his blueprints. You know, I wouldn't be really surprised to see him turn in all the blueprints he has and then head straight to Helm and finish in Helm. I don't know if he has anything left. Ooh. Romulus with the nice fairy picture. There we go. So now he's up to 4 fairies.
He had
Ooh, now
8
he's
blueprints turned in.
he is looking at Romulus is looking at totals, and I think he is wondering where his blueprints went. Znern is counting individual blueprints right now.
Yeah, he just turned them in and he had 8 turned in.
Two more with Chunky. Yeah, you gotta be careful not to over collect, because then you have to collect even more to make it out. I guess with blueprints it's not that bad because you're also getting yourself more golden bananas, so you're not like... But if you plan on getting, like, say, 3 medals, 5 keys, 7 fairies, or 7 crowns, and you end up getting 4 medals, that's so bad. If you have, like, already too much of the other as well, then you just, like... You just, locked yourself out of getting 3 of anything. You need to be mindful of how many of each thing you're getting for sure. So I believe that's the final Snides visit for Znern. He should be at 11, and that should probably be his choice for the blueprint count. Mornin Alta Biscuit, thank you for the raid. I should I'm gonna post this again in chat if you want to see the challenge that they're doing. Here it is. So this time the challenge is pretty simple. They just have to get seven different major collectibles on the total screen with 7 different odd numbers of them. The optimal being 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. I really wonder, Does Nern have any plans to use that B-Locker code?
Maybe just to make his life slightly easier.
Yeah, maybe to enter factory, but he didn't have the... Like, I don't think at any point he had the number of bananas that would have made it easier to enter any of the levels. Maybe he was just asking to know the information.
We have another arcade going on. And Romulus is doing another GB that's going to result in a fairy. So, a double count there.
Mumbo is pleased with having to get the Nintendo coin, I believe.
Did you just see the chat in the Discord?
Yeah, I don't get notifications. I guess I should probably all messages in the threads for DK Challenge series. Because I had it on only mentions, so if I wasn't hearing if anyone was saying anything. And there we go, Znern going to Helm. With the fairy, I'm assuming.
Oh,
I think that's his final level. What? How did that not count? That was crazy. Did you see Romulus's picture? We just saw 3 failed pit fairy pictures in the span of 10 seconds. We're doing pillar full. Meanwhile, Jeff on round 1 of arcade.
Did you just call it pillarful?
Yeah, it's the when you don't go for pillarless.
Yeah.
And
There he goes. He just turned in his blueprints, TKettle. He just
oh,
realized
now he
it.
knows.
Yeah.
Right. So he's probably cursing us out at the moment.
That's fine. Well, he does have 13, so he could decide to just stop at 5 blueprints. I wouldn't, but
Right.
he caught it early enough that I don't think it's a huge deal.
Okay, so Zdern said he would go for 3 medals in Helm, and the crown, and the key. So I think he's in for about, I would say, 9 minutes, maybe? So if he's got everything right, and that's the end, that I think he's on a roughly 114, 115, 113, 114 pace. Which is quite good. I think that's roughly the time that we expected the winner to get. Somewhere between like 110 and 120.
I tested
Would you
this with the
agree?
route just before we started this, and I got 110, like with
Right.
a planned route. So I'm not surprised that if Znern gets a time around there. Also with apparently guessing what the challenge was, which is really surprising.
Or at least having a pretty decent idea
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
was. TKettle going to Galleon now. Okay, so he's got 13.
He's counting his blueprints, I think.
Right. I was hoping he would go through his total screen, but that's fine. Jeff on round 2. I think he had to go get more coins. I think he was out of DK coins to do round 2. I was wondering why he left and came back. Alright. I think probably Crown Under Timer is his choice, yeah. And how much more stuff do we think TKettle needs?
We have 13 GBs, 5 blueprints turned in. I've seen him
I'm
do, I feel
assuming-
like, at least 3 crowns.
Yeah, I think he's probably out like maybe 1 or 2 keys and like 2 or 3 fairies still, maybe a couple blueprints. He might be out a medal or 2 as well. I don't know exactly how much he decided to go for. I think he said he wanted to go for 3 keys, 5 crowns, 7 medals, but I don't remember exactly. I think that's what he said, yeah. I don't remember seeing a lot of medals recently. I think that I just saw Romulus get DKs and japes. But otherwise, I feel like it's been a while. I think medals are definitely something that I think it's definitely the hardest thing to figure out where you want to place it.
Yeah.
Because there's arguments for 3, 5, or 7. Okay, that should be Znernicus' final crown. That should be Jeff's final arcade level.
I'm pretty sure Romulus has been working on Chunky's medal in here.
He's on 30. Going to underground, so that would put him at 50, and then just the
And there's a
either
GB
the
and a
3
blueprint
balloons
here.
or the right.
He got the 3 balloons.
Right, so he's probably gonna go to the Might Garden to finish it. Maybe going through Funky to get those bunches. Alright, so Znern with Chunky and Tiny left for medals. Jeff done with Arcade. TKettle done with Blueprints, question mark? Not yet. Oh, so we're doing key 3 for Jeff. So that should be at least 4 keys for him. So I'm guessing he might have gone for 3 medals, 5 keys. Ooh, those 5 bananas.
Oh my god, we're watching the Mad Jack cutscene.
Nice. How many years has it been?
I watched it earlier today because I was too lazy to go back in when I tested this. It's fun. Not something speedrunners watch a lot. We usually skip this.
By cheating.
Cheating by using the built-in game mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he's getting the last bananas up by the Hunky Chunky.
So, if Jeff is fighting Matt Jack, does that mean he's getting 7 keys? Or he just decided to fight him over Armadillo 1 or Puff Doss?
Did he do Armadillo 2?
I don't think he did. But I think if you were to get 7 keys, Armadillo 2 might be the one you would skip.
Yeah.
Okay, and Znern is done with the medals, I believe. That would be his 3rd one. So if what he said is right, he's about to head straight to the ending of Helm, get the key, get the 2 fairies, and done. If he can phase walk. There we go. TKettle is headed to Helm as well,
Yeah.
and I believe that might be his last level as well. So even with all this extra GB collecting and round 1 doing, looks like he might also be on a pretty interesting pace. Ooh, that's a rough camera right there. Okay. Navigating out of bounds to the key 8 room from Tiny's room is not something I can say I've done many times. I guess it's similar to the when you do Terminal 1 clip, but just from a high room. Alright, just going straight to the MS Tiny. That should be a 113, I believe. No one has finished yet, so I believe he might very well win this.
He's finished.
There we go.
He just finished in the alley.
112.58.
Very nice.
Congratulations to Znernicus.
Wanna bring him back
in? Sure. Yeah. I guess we need to see his totals first.
We're
but
looking at totals.
In order of increasing number, 1 Nintendo coin, 3 medals.
I guess we need to
5
see his
boss
totals
keys,
first.
7
We're looking
crowns,
at totals.
9 fairies, 11 blueprints, 13 good bananas.
Did you
GG.
mute him in the stream?
I did. Yeah, it took me a
Okay,
second, but
perfect.
he's muted.
Other than missing
GG?
the orange clip for the first attempt of round 1 skip, everything went pretty well, pretty according to plan.
Very nice.
Blueprint turn-ins were a little bit messy, but just trying to be careful that I didn't accidentally turn in like 1 too many and then have to get another one.
Oh,
So, yeah.
sorry, speaking of blueprints, Romulus is turning his in. It looks like he finally realized it.
That you have to turn them in for them to
Yeah.
count.
Yeah, we had a few runners over collecting golden bananas for some of this challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't know whether or not they just count without turning them in, yeah, that is a big deal actually. Did anybody not make GBs their highest number? I hope everyone decided.
No one
It's
on
tradition.
so far it looks like everyone's got a lot of GBs, so
Yeah, I know that not everyone chose. I know that like there's definitely been different choices for the crowns,
Oh!
fairies, medals, crowns, keys,
Candy
medals.
boots.
Candy Boots finished in the race time.
Nice.
14, 42,
Wow, that
14,
was
45.
close, man. That was super close.
I'm gonna keep that up as well. So
heart
yeah,
was pounding
congrats
at
to
the end.
everyone who voted for Znernicus to win. Congrats on your rainbow coins, your banana coins.
I feel pretty good about my play on this one. Like the orange clip miss was a pretty big deal, but that happens, you know. I do wish
Yeah.
though that I didn't exhaust my fairy resources before going for it. Like if I had maybe saved the factory lobby or the 16 numbers fairy until after my first round of attempts, that would have been smarter and a quicker backup.
Yeah, you were hurt by your own hubris there. Okay, so Jeff is on 6 turned in blueprints. Only 1 crown though. He will need to get more.
Yeah, I'm curious if anybody wanted like fewer crowns, but more of either medals or boss keys or something.
I think that you might be one of the few people who went for 3 medals. I think most people went for more.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking back on it, I could have just done like a couple more medals and 2 fewer crowns, like 5 medals, 3 crowns, because crowns are pretty
Yeah,
slow
it's
and pretty
funny
out of the
because
way.
when you were talking about those like 3 medals in Helm, I was looking at you Like even mistakenly getting chunky bananas in japes and thinking if you'd just like taken like 30 extra seconds, you would have that chunky metal. But
Eh,
yeah, it's hard
yeah,
to just
maybe.
like figure out this far in advance. Because it like you did the chunky detransform clip, which like is already next to 55 bananas.
Correct.
So by that
It
point, you can just like do a quick
I
visit to the
definitely could
underground to
have picked
finish
up
it.
that medal. I also realized
Oh,
like I really could have just done like all 5 medals in Helm, or like I could have done Diddy's in Helm instead of Tiny's and then go. But I wasn't as confident about the navigation. I wasn't sure whether it was safer to try to go from Tiny's medal to Key 8 or Diddy's medal to Key 8. And I figured Tiny should be very similar to the old Terminal 1 clip,
Mhm.
except you're just a little bit higher up, so like it's even easier, hopefully. Whereas Diddy's, I know that like I'm not 100% on the line you have to take, and I know that you can void out if you are too wide. So I was not, yeah, I was not thinking that I should go for Diddy's medal last in Hell, but it was definitely something that crossed my mind.
Ooh, I just noticed Zerulda forfeited from the race.
yeah.
Dang.
Romulus went through his totals. He had 3 crowns, 3 keys, 3 medals, and he was pretty good on everything else. He had 6 fairies, so I think he's just going for the non-banana or blueprint related things now. So that's
Right.
good.
Do you know what Candy's distribution was, or do you want to get him in the
I have
call?
no idea.
He's
Well,
available.
I don't know if he
I
wants
think
to
I
he
know
join
what
the
is.
my
call.
distribution was.
Oh,
Hey,
hello.
Candy. Welcome.
Yeah, he joined a minute
GG's.
ago.
GG's. Very fun challenge.
Yeah, close finish between us.
It was. Oh my goodness. I was so close to being done when I saw you finish. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to hurry up.
Yeah. I'm guessing you did more medals than I did. I only did 3.
I did 7.
Yeah. I think that was my biggest sort of distribution error, but makes sense. So then you must have done like I'm guessing like 5 keys, 3 crowns or something.
I did 3 keys and 5 crowns personally.
Okay, interesting. I wasn't sure which way to go on that. I did
Yeah,
also,
I
well,
was.
actually, no, that does make sense. I did 7 crowns, 5 keys, but
hmm
I think if I were doing 3 and 5, I would have done still 5 keys, but only 3 crowns. Because the
hmm
first 2 keys, or rather the first 3 keys, are all really quick. So you
Yeah.
can get like 5 without it being too much out of the way. I don't know. But
I kind of
yeah,
figured
I think
with
your
the
additional medals
crowns.
is smart.
Yeah. I kind of figured with the crowns, there's like how many? 4? Well, there's 3 that are pretty close to each other, like the factory, Snides, and Galleon ones. Then Japes is just super fast. I just kind of had to go out of my way. I did the caves battle crown under the helm timer, um,
Ooh,
for my
interesting.
5th crown.
I made sure to finish in Helm. I didn't want to mess with Helm exiting and all that stuff.
hmm
Oh yeah, one thing that you said to us during your little mid-run interview was that you were happy to skip fungi entirely, but you still had to go to the lobby. So I was questioning whether that was such a big advantage or not to not have
Yeah,
to go.
I didn't think about it in advance, but then when I was going through the crowns that I was skipping, I realized, oh, I am doing the fungi lobby crown, so but I don't know. I still skip entering the level, the intro cutscene, and going anywhere, so I'm okay with
Hmm.
it.
And the lobby fairy.
I thought about lobby fairy, but I did not commit to the feather bow.
Hmm.
There were just enough easy fairies, more than I thought there would be. Honestly, I was a little nervous during our interview that I wouldn't have enough good fairies, but then I noticed that between Galleon Factory and the Helm visit, it was going to be perfect. So I didn't worry too much, and I didn't need to get Featherbow for like lobby, fungi lobby, or factory wheel.
I
Although I
think
definitely considered factory wheel, but I didn't want that extra GB because it was already like I had exactly 2 extra GBs not from blueprints, and I didn't want to get any more if I could avoid it. Go ahead, Corco.
Oh, I was just gonna point out. I think TKettle's doing all of Helm for his medals, like just clearing
Neat.
it. That's what it looks like.
Jeff on 3 crown.
Anyway, I like the challenge. It's similar to what I had thought, but I think it works really well. I think the decisions between keys, fairies, crowns, like pretty much what you put in the hint, were, oh, and medals actually were the main things. I think if I had thought about medals more in advance, maybe I could have came to the conclusion to do more than 3. In my head, I was just thinking like by itself, a medal feels like more work than doing a crown or doing a key.
Mm-hmm.
So where did you get your medals then, Candy?
I got Lanky and Diddy's in Factory. I got Lanky's in Galleon, and I got Lanky, Diddy, DK, Chunky, and Japes.
Oh, interesting. So nothing in Helm.
Nothing in Helm. I thought about getting DK's in Helm, but I was like, nah.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
kind of like for my own mental stack just decided to keep it simple and just do Helm medals, not have to worry
Mhm.
about routing and bananas anywhere else. Oh, I do
Yeah.
want to just say, I hope you guys were watching or somebody was watching when I did my improvised caves out of bounds route to get to the crown.
I don't think I caught
I
that.
If you
I
didn't catch
saw you in
it,
the rotating room, but I
you'll
don't
see
think
it later, I guess. I went to buy Rocket Barrel because I realized I had forgot to buy it in Japes. So when I got to caves, knowing I needed to do the crown, and I was thinking about should I do any blueprints, should I do any fairies? I quickly realized I don't need either fairy in caves, and but I did need Rocket Barrel. So I went over to Frankie's, bought Rocket Barrel, jumped on the Rocket Barrel right next to it, and then I did the like over the ceiling out of bounds, but instead of going all the way through the level, I went like the other way through the big boulder room
right.
to the waterfall tag barrel.
I
Which
probably
was
would have
pretty
been
interesting.
scared to have the wrong angle and void out because I don't
I
exactly
was,
know.
yeah, I was scared and I like slowed down to load the room so I could see where I was going. I didn't just like full throttle it. But I thought it was a pretty swag strat.
TKettle almost finished with the 5 helm medals.
Yep, I can see he's in Diddy's room with 9 minutes on the timer. So yeah, I figured a lot of people would realize like if you're gonna do Helm medals, you'll turn your blueprints in first. For me, I did like not a full clear of Helm, but 3 medals, the fairies, the crown, and the key. So I wasn't sure if Helm Crown was better than Fungi Crown, but I figured like I yeah just didn't want to have to enter Fungi at all if I didn't need to. I could have done Castle Crown, but the way I routed my castle was like tree and crypt only, so I never did any climbing. So I kind of felt like Crown wasn't worth it either. But yeah, this was a very fun challenge.
Glad you enjoyed. I was fearing a little bit that this would be like a little too much on the simple side, but I think it's a nice little, easier challenge for the early series.
I actually don't think it's that easy in terms of how many like things you have to keep track of at the same time.
Yeah.
Right,
Although maybe the
yeah.
other challenges are just harder than I'm thinking they will be.
Well, I guess it's more like in terms of like how like there's no like restriction or anything. It's just like get these items.
Yeah.
When we first designed this challenge, it was just supposed to be get 7 with different numbers, not necessarily odd numbers. But then it could just like when I tested it, I was able to do it with just DK in like 45 minutes. And we were like, that's gonna be too easy for the people who can get to Helm early with DK, and it's gonna be way longer for people that can't do that, and it's just gonna be too divisive.
Makes sense,
So
yeah. I did give some thought early on to like, do I actually want to do stuff with every Kong? But I figured at the very least, the blueprints would benefit from having every Kong, and the fairies also can be pretty restrictive if you don't have everyone.
The very first idea I had for this challenge actually was to have it so you had to have numbers going up in one direction in the wheel.
Oh, geez.
But
That would
just
be
the way
placement of
they're
the company coins doesn't make that possible, really.
yeah, the company coins didn't really make it possible, and the fact that you necessarily have more GBs than blueprints also made it kind of not work.
True.
So
Huh.
Or you just have to get a lot of medals. Yeah, you need
yeah,
to
but
get
you
like
have like
1 coin, 2 blueprints, 3 GBs, 4 crowns, 5 keys, 6 medals, 7 fairies, or something. It's like
yeah,
very
and
lopsided. Yeah.
I was hoping that there would be like several ways to do it with like both Rareware and Nintendo Coin, but it just ended up like being the only possibility really. So
Oh, I sure hope nobody did the rare coin thinking that 15 medals was a reasonable odd number.
It doesn't. No one on stream looks like they've done that. I think everyone's done arcade that we've seen.
oh,
TKettle
TKettle is
finished.
finished.
GG.
Let him check the totals before I bring him in.
Oh, apparently Mumbo is doing Rareware
Mumbo
Coin.
did 50
Oh, okay.
medals for rare coin? Wow.
You know what? If someone hates
our
arcade enough, I can see the vision.
Sure.
congrats on
Hi,
7 odd
congrats.
numbers.
GG.
Hey, TKettle did. I think TKettle did my same distribution.
The challenge was fun. I was very disappointed with my gameplay, but it was a good challenge. I just very frustrated with big mistakes I made. I still don't think I would have, even if I hadn't made those mistakes, I still don't think I would have did good enough to beat Znern or Candy Boots because that was just insane. But
Yeah,
Oh.
we were talking about your little mishaps, but I think I would agree as well that I don't think they changed your
yeah,
placing.
No.
I logically I think Helm was a bad decision. But as I was thinking about it, I'm like, the only other key that I would want to do would be Armadillo 1 and Japes, and that would probably be where I do my medals. But I still needed a couple guns, and I just thought, I just thought everything I needed I could get in Helm because I could get 5 medals, I could get a crown, I could get 2 fairies. So
I
that's
like
why.
Helm for this challenge.
Yeah.
I also did a lot. I didn't do all 5 medals because the main difference I did was like I only got 3 medals, but I had to get more crowns instead.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, thinking back on it, probably that wasn't the smartest plan. But
Ooh, Jeff
yeah,
just
at the
took
time I was.
Jeff just died and puffed us at the very last
Oh
star.
no.
Oh
That's
God,
so rough.
that is rough.
Yeah, that's a crouch in place for 10 seconds moment.
Yeah.
Dang.
Did either of you guys do more than 3 keys?
5.
You did 5? Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking about doing 5 keys, but I didn't really. I don't know. It just seemed like that was the longest thing, so it felt like I wanted to do the least of those.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought the medals were so bad. I was looking at the meme boards times, and I was seeing like, where's the medals section? Like, 10 medals is like 53 minutes, but all 8 keys is like 40 something minutes. So it's like, I was thinking in my head like keys are faster than medals, sort of,
But there's a lot less
or at
of
least
them.
comparable. And also like looking at the crowns, 10 crowns was uh similar. It was 40 something minutes. So I don't know. Based on that alone, I decided I will do like fewer medals and just not worry about picking up colored bananas. Just get helm medals only.
So did you do 7 crowns?
Yes, 7 crowns.
Man.
I figured like out of 10, like 7 out of 10 and 5 out of 8, like decent distribution for those crowns and keys. So I could skip like the 3 slowest in each case.
One thing that messed me up a little bit is I did not remember that you actually have to turn the blueprints in for them to be in the totals menu.
Oh, that makes a big
So
difference. Yeah.
I was only going to turn in 5 because that was going to get me up to an odd number of golden bananas, and then that was enough for Helm, I thought, for the timer. But then when I checked totals, it only showed 5 blueprints. I'm like, crap. But I had enough. I still had an even number left to turn in, which would keep my golden banana count at an odd number.
Ah,
So
that's good.
I hated because I had left factory already, which is where I turned in blueprints, and then I ended up having to travel to Snides and Galleon. But I had to get a Galleon crown anyway, so.
I had a thought at some point in the challenge that it would have been interesting if you had to do 5 prime numbers instead of just 5 odd numbers.
Oh god.
But
5
that'd probably
prime
Oh
been
my
too
God.
difficult.
Well,
So
Is that
I
even
that's
actually
possible?
well,
I
your
did
9 would become the 11 would be the 13, and the 13 would be the 17.
yeah, I did think about it, but the thing was, well, if you wanted to include the Nintendo coin slash rareware coin, then like that can't be a prime number, so you would have to have like 6 of
Oh,
them, I guess.
well, I mean, where 1 is considered a prime number.
Yeah, so I was thinking either like you would have to like mention, oh, also 1 is prime,
Sure.
or and then you have 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. So
Right.
it's actually like easier.
Oh, it's easier because you don't have to worry about which one to do 9 with or something?
No, because
Like
you
it forces
9 is
your
replaced by 2.
Oh, 2. Right.
Yeah.
2 is you're right. I don't know why I wasn't thinking of 2, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so you end up having to do just 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's actually short. And
I'm
also
gonna
it's
have to
easier to like break your thing. Sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
gonna I'm gonna have to go back and watch the VOD of this because I'm curious the routing because I made some mistakes, but they weren't. I feel like even if I'd not made those gameplay mistakes, I still was gonna be like I think my time would have ideally been with my route like 120, and so I'm like curious what route you guys did because the biggest mistakes I made was I died in Armadillo 1 or
Ouch.
not Armadillo. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Dogadon 1 because he knocked me into the lava. But then
Oh, wow. Okay.
I also screwed up. I didn't have a rank stand for arcade round 1 skip. And so I just had to do the orange clip. I used almost all my oranges, and then somehow I guess I was turned a little more than I thought I was, and I loaded the room, so I ended up just doing the first round of arcade. So
Oh
that probably cost
no.
me like 4 or 5 minutes, but
Yeah, my biggest mistake was also missing round 1 skip first turn that I went through the orange clip attempts. I also did not buy a rank stand and was just committed to hitting the orange clip and ran out of 20 oranges, and stupidly I already had collected the nearby fairies, so I had to just like farm oranges at the front of factory and try again.
Mhm.
I guess I didn't even think about just doing round 1, but yeah, I just figured I would rather go collect a bunch of oranges and try again. And I didn't have the spinning wheel fairy. It wasn't in my planned list of fairies, but that was going to be my next backup if I failed it again.
But
But
yeah,
I was already good on fairies without that, and I didn't have Tiny's gun.
yeah, I was really trying to make sure, like I was checking my totals to make sure that I could get everything I needed in Helm, and that would be the end because I entered Helm with 7 fairies, with
Yep.
4 battle crowns, 2 keys, 2 medals. So it all worked out with that. But I feel like Helm I
Yeah,
did okay. It was just my gameplay before Helm that was not ideal.
yeah. I was also being very careful checking my blueprints before I turned them in to make sure I had the right number on each Kong so that it would end up being an odd number.
Hmm. But no, if I would have
Oh,
remembered that I
someone
had to,
finished. TJ just
TJ just
finished.
finished.
GG.
awesome. If I would have remembered that I had to turn in blueprints for them to count on the total screen, then I would not have got as many golden bananas as I did. Because early on, I got like 4 or 5 golden bananas, and I did not need any of them. I don't think.
Right. No, I
I
quickly
probably.
realized that like ideally I should only pick up 2 golden bananas that aren't blueprints, and
Mhm.
you have to get the round 1. So the
Yep.
other one, I just figured it should be like enter James lobby and then just try to avoid everything else. So it did kind of influence the fairies I was trying to get. I mean, in general, I was going to try to get fairies that aren't behind a GB anyway, just because like it's less stuff you have to do. But yeah, so it ended up that the 9 fairies I got were all non-GB fairies, so I had the minimal counts of everything. So did you have like 19 or 17 GBs then?
I think 19. Yeah, because I had what my plan was. I was going to turn in 5 blueprints, so I was at 8, and so that would put me at 13 GBs. And I thought that's all I would have to, but then I ended up having to turn in the other 6
To have
GBs.
11.
But yeah, it did. By the time I was turning in blueprints, it didn't really, it didn't add anything to what I had to do.
Perfect.
But I could have
Put
skipped
that
like,
extra time on
yeah,
some
I could have skipped 4 GBs early on that I got, which most of them were quick because I was in Castle. I did the tree when I was getting the fairy, and I did a library for when I got a couple bananas in there. So, like those were really quick, and then I got
not like free chunky or something. Is one of those
yeah,
GBs I thought
yeah.
about.
I
But
ended up intentionally skipping that one. I got the top of production room with Lanky,
right. Yeah.
and I can't remember what the other ones I got were, but so like most of those didn't really add much time anyway, but I could have skipped a couple of them.
hmm In that early game, I thought like, should I, stay in Aztec one, get like DK's medal and some fairies, but then I quickly told myself, no, don't do that. Just like move on after getting key 5 and key 2. There's going to be better opportunities for stuff later, and I'm glad I did because yeah, I didn't end up needing to go back to Aztec for anything. That was a safe crown to skip. I also like gut instinct skipped Castle Crown in my castle visit. Um, I did get key 7. I think it's generally decent when you're freeing Kongs there.
Yeah.
And then the move buying that I had to do, I took a lot of notes. I took notes on like every collectible I needed and every move I wanted to buy. And the synergy on like Chunky's moves is actually really good on this because I was getting Gorilla Gone for the Fungi Lobby crown, but I would have needed like Punch anyway for his Helm Barrel medal
Mm-hmm.
and also for some fairies. So I felt that that was like well uh, synergized, I guess. Monkey Port, of course, just for easy Helm access and the fairy in the back. And Gorilla Grab is necessary, and Rocket Barrel was the only other thing that I needed. Although I could have gone without Rocket Barrel if I picked a different distribution and didn't have to get 7 crowns. Or chose. Well, no, because even if I didn't do Helm Crown, I would have needed to do like Fungi Crown, in which case Rocket Barrel is still good.
Hello.
Morning,
Hello,
TJ.
TJ.
And
Morning.
Morning.
Did you have fun with this one?
This one was alright. It wasn't as fun as the last one.
Yeah, I guess the last one's pretty unique.
Yeah. I mean, this one wasn't bad by any means.
No, I thought it was cool. Really cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed the variable routing part of it, but I haven't played 101 in probably 8, 9 years at this point, and so I couldn't actually remember what all was on the total screen because randomizer is completely different than vanilla.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this
Uh,
definitely is a 101 runner advantage challenge, I think.
yeah, for sure. Um, so what happened was I completely forgot about blueprints being on the total screen until like 35 minutes in. It was really bad.
Well, you probably were like really confused as to, like how could you even have 7 different numbers then?
Well,
Because you
okay,
can't
so
have different numbers on the 2 company coins unless you think that that's one category, but
no, you're right, you're right. Uh, I actually messaged Bismuth about that, and I asked him a really dumb question, which I will share with you. I said, "Is 31 two different odd numbers, or is it one number?"
Ah.
Yeah, because like
I
I couldn't
see.
remember blueprints being on the total screen, right? So I was just like, how on earth do you get 7 unique numbers there, or 7 unique
Yeah.
odd numbers?
We actually meant for you to get 135 golden bananas, and
Ah, poor.
Right? How could I miss that?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know a lot of people also weren't sure if the blueprints had to be turned in to show up in their
Well,
count.
they do,
They
right?
do, but a lot of
Yeah.
people played as if they didn't, so they were like just counting the ones they picked up as if that was that odd number.
Ah,
So they collected like more GBs than they needed to.
yep.
Yeah, I was surprised. Of course, the rule to answered first, but I was surprised that you guys were willing to answer what all was on the total screen.
We wouldn't have.
yeah,
We wouldn't
That's
have
kind of
answered
what I was.
that.
the answer was already like almost fully given, so I figured I might as well finish it. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, but um, I mean, it wouldn't have really affected my placement because I mean, Candy Boots and Zner know what's on there, so. But I
yeah,
had,
someone said they just looked up like a 101 run and looked at
yeah,
the
that was me.
part where they look at the totals. So I
I
think
had like
that's a
just,
good strat.
yeah, I had just figured it out before Zerulda posted because I had pulled up my last 101 PB. Or the one before, I pulled up one of my 101s where I checked totals and snides, and I'm like, okay, that's what all, what else on there.
I don't know why, but for like 15 minutes, I was convinced that the Nintendo coin was just like, I don't know. I thought that there were 8 things on the total screen because no way are we counting the Nintendo coin. I don't know why I convinced myself of that.
Well, there are 8 things on the total screen. The other one is rareware coin.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Duh.
Yeah, I pretty much knew the total screen very well from 101, so that part, I guess I had an advantage. Like,
Yeah, well,
didn't have any doubts about what counted and what the restrictions would be on that.
yeah, well, see, my problem in 101, every time I check totals, I only look at like 2 things, so
Yeah.
I only ever look at medals and crowns, basically.
we made a note for sure. Like we knew that there would be the issue of figuring out that blueprints only show up once you turn them in.
Yeah.
Like that was in our notes even before going into the challenge. We knew that at least someone would get tripped up.
Thankfully, there are so many blueprints and so many GBs that finding out late would never like prevent you from completing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think at worst, if you over collect GBs by like 11, you basically lose like 5 minutes or so. So it's not like a huge.
yeah, and you'd have to, even if the blueprints you turned in resulted in you getting an even number of GBs, you'd only have to collect one more GB, so it's not a huge issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and hopefully it's not going to be a number that now matches another number that the things you got.
Yeah.
You might have to get 3 more golden bananas, yeah, in that case.
If you had
No, but
25 medals, you have to.
GBs will always be the highest anyway, so yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was really smart in terms of being flexible and still like easy enough to have everyone complete it. Although I do think 2 hours is maybe a challenging time limit.
I
Yeah,
agree.
Yeah.
we did tell everyone to just ignore the time limit and finish whenever.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because that's what I was thinking right at the start when I was about 45 minutes in. I'm like, I may be very close to 2 hours, but then as I realized that Helm was the only level I had left, I'm like, okay, no, it'll be closer to an hour and a half. But yeah, that's what I was thinking partway through. I'm like, man, 2 hours could be kind of tight for a lot of people.
Especially if you chose a weird distribution that forced you to do like a lot of, I don't know.
The idea was mostly that we generally want the challenges to last 2 hours maximum, so that people know that like when they get into one, they're not going to be stuck there for 4 hours. But
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and I mean theoretically you could brick yourself on the challenge, but only if you got like, you
you'd have
know,
to really try.
you'd have to like it would basically be between the crowns and the keys.
Imagine
Like collecting too many of each, but yeah.
imagine you accidentally get all 8 keys.
Exactly, yeah. Like or like 8
I was
crowns, but
thinking
something else is already 9. I don't know. Yeah.
something that was kind of likely to happen and would really suck is if someone like miscounted their keys and they got up to like 4, but they also already had like at least 4 crowns and 4 medals by that point. So now they would like lock themselves out of 3. So they would need to get like
Yeah.
5 keys, 7 crowns, 9 medals, 11 fairies, 13 blueprints, 15 GBs. But I don't think that happened to anyone.
Yeah, I hope not.
Okay, so Jeff has 5 crowns, 6 keys, 7 blueprints, 16 GBs. So it looks like he needs to get at least 9 blueprints, probably 11 for the fairies as well. 1 more key.
Did everyone else kind of agree that fairies were the next highest number after GBs and blueprints?
Yeah, I
Yep.
think pretty much everyone went for
Yeah,
9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that becomes obvious enough when you start playing it. Although I could maybe see someone doing 9 medals. If they're really not a fan
Mhm.
of fairies.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think Jeff is going for like 4 more blueprints, 1 more fairy, 1 more key. Maybe.
Yeah, I guess in hindsight, the crowns probably are generally faster than the medals.
I'm not sure actually, because in the end, like Candy Boots and I got really similar times. He did the same distribution that you did with more medals and fewer crowns and keys. So yeah, I don't know. I could see more medals working out, especially if you route them well. I mostly just wanted to have a lighter mental stack
Mm-hmm.
with the medals.
Did
If I were to do it, I think I would have gone for 3 keys, 5 crowns, 7 medals.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense to me now.
But I'm also a banana bitch, so maybe that's skewing my.
I am not, and I still went for higher medals.
You were gonna say something, Court?
did anyone do organic Kongs? And not free
Romulus did, I
everyone?
think. Ooh, not for everyone. I don't know. But I think Romulus chose organic Kongs for at least most of it.
That makes me feel better that everyone else did Castle Kongs because I was really kicking myself once I had already been an Aztec and eggs or reset out of it. I was thinking, man, I should have just did DK or Diddy and Lanky.
Mm.
I think Chunky ended up helping me a ton in this one. Like I said, his punch and Gorilla Gone led to a lot of fairies, crowns, and stuff. So
So
Mhm.
Chunky's Primate Punch is definitely good for fairies at least.
yeah, and if you skip Tiny, it's okay. I guess you do like Helm early with TBS, and you don't really need Tiny for anything else. You could also skip Diddy. I don't think he was that important here. But like Diddy and Lanky both, I think all I really used them for was just like blueprint collection.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got most of my blueprints with Linky and Diddy too.
All right, I wonder if that is Romulus's final key.
Oh, that's a good idea, TKettle. Yeah, actually, if you want to
Huge.
like put other runners up in the in the spot.
I think we've got only Mumbo left, who's not on the stream.
Oh, was I not supposed to end my stream? I'm sorry.
No, I
No,
think
It's
it was a good
okay.
idea. So I remember in the last challenge series, sometimes we would like swap over to another runner who was still going. Once someone on the live feed was finished.
Mumbo is probably hunting for his 14th medal right
Bring a
now.
medal, yeah.
5, 7, 8. Jeff has 8 blueprints turned in.
Lanky's medal in castle. Oh boy. It has 60 very quick ones and then kind of annoying balloons to finish it off.
Yeah, Lanky's Metal and Castle is almost one of the best ones.
Yeah,
Meme
I
job
spent the
count.
time on. Oh, sorry, go
Sorry,
ahead.
no, go ahead. I just was. It's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I spent time on getting Lanky's Metal in Castle, but I'm learning very quickly that I have a major problem where I spend too long in Castle at the beginning of these, and that is definitely a problem I need to fix.
Oh, that's why I thought
Mhm.
I was gonna be pushing it for 2 hours. Was I was still in Castle at like the 50 or 55 minute mark, and I'm like, oh my god, this is terrible. But
You were
it
castled
Yeah.
50 minutes? Oh
it
my
it,
goodness.
it, it might not
Wow,
have
I
been
didn't
that
know
late.
that.
I might be exaggerating a little bit. It might not have been that far, but it was at least like 40 minutes, and I'm just like freaking out. But then all I did after that was Factory and Helm. So
How
I
did
mean,
you
I
get
had to. I
crowns?
had to, I had to go in Galleon, and I had to go into Galleon for like 2 minutes for the crown and to turn in some
Okay.
blueprints, and that was it. But
Yeah,
essentially all my gameplay was in Factory and Helm after that.
I guess the downside of me doing 7 crowns was it forced me to visit a lot of levels. I only skipped fungi.
Are you able to add the Mumbo to the stream?
Yeah, give me a second.
So Mumbo's doing Jetpack instead of Nintendo Coin.
Yeah, I think both Romulus and Mumbo have given up on arcade. I don't know if Romulus fully gave up on it, but Mumbo gave up on it. He's going for rarer coin.
Interesting.
I think even if you tried arcade for half an hour, you would still be better off.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't really help lower the critical long items to get 15 medals, since, 13 should be like the highest, if it's all the minimals. If it was like able to prevent you from having to get like 13 fairies or 15 fairies, then sure, but there aren't that many things to get.
Yeah, I think at least I take for granted how hard arcade really is just because I've done it hundreds of times. But when you watch
Right.
like if I've ever watched like just people playing DK64 casually, like if they're saying it's their first time playing it and just seeing how much they struggle with arcade, it is insanely hard when you think about it.
Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
Definitely.
If you're not used to doing it, it could really be a challenge.
I think it might be that I grew up on the NES before the N64, and I had the Donkey Kong NES port. And so I guess like I never had a point where I played DK64 where arcade gave me trouble. I kind of never had this experience of getting stuck on Nintendo Coin.
Oh, I definitely got stuck on it. I didn't play like any of the older games before DK64, so it was a very foreign kind of I don't know. The thing is like also just not expecting that you would die from like falling 2 feet
Yeah.
killed me in
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
like critical moments the first time I went through it.
Yeah,
Learning
arcade also gives you
experience.
only one life. When you're doing Nintendo Coin, you do get to 10,000 after 2 levels, so you can die in 75M and be fine, but it's
Thank
still
God.
pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's always funny to me also to watch if ever some like really good like one-on-one runners ever have to do round one, how they sometimes struggle with it because they're just not used to doing round one.
Round one's harder. Yeah. Like you don't get the extra life, and I mean I guess because you don't practice it regularly.
Yeah, because in glitchless I had to do it both all the time, and so like
Oh
I became
yeah.
so good at both rounds, and
Right.
so it's always funny to me when I watch even top level runners struggle with round one.
80% glitchless, the true best category to prepare for this challenge.
Well, if you screw up round one skip like I did, yes.
Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about that one because I saw that you loaded the tunnel
The sparkles were not there. I saw I didn't just load
Did
the
the
tunnel
sparkles vanish?
because the mini monkey barrel was loaded too. So like part of the
Yeah,
room was loaded.
anytime the tunnel is loaded, I think the room with the GB is also loaded. I think they're part of the same chunk.
I know what I did.
Okay.
I know what I did wrong, and I don't know why I chose to do it that way. But normally, always when I clip through, when I do the orange clip method, I go into first person to kind of like turn my camera a certain way, and I didn't do that. I just started heading towards the sparkles, and I realized after the fact, I'm like, crap, that's what I did wrong. So I just didn't do it the way I was used to doing it. So my camera was slightly turned more than I realized, and so then when I got close to the sparkles, the camera was close enough to the tunnel that it loaded it.
Did you guys take a lot of notes? Because I did, and I think it helped me a lot.
Yeah,
I
the only
did.
thing. Yeah, go ahead, Kenny Boots.
Oh, I just was gonna say I did.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
don't really know what I was gonna elaborate.
yeah. So what I did, basically the only notes I took was right when I decided what amounts I was going for, I wrote that down on one notepad, and then next to it, I wrote like tally marks for each of those things so I could make sure that I was keeping up with all of them as I was going, so I didn't have to check the total screen as much, but that's basically all I
Yeah,
did for notes.
that's about exactly what I did too. I wrote out everything that was on the total screen and I tried to assign numbers to them all, and then I just tried to keep little tally marks for everything that I collected. Just hoping and praying that I wasn't, forgetting a blueprint that I collected or something like that. But it ended up working out.
Yeah, I paused to double check my blueprints before turning them in because I didn't want to be in a situation where I had like 12 by accident.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
and
kind of
I
figured at
took
that
some
point.
notes also about like which crowns I'm skipping, which keys I'm skipping, which fairies
Oh
I'm
yeah,
getting remaining. Yeah.
yeah, I did too.
And moves. I generally in the first, I don't know, 15 minutes try to write down which moves I definitely need.
Yeah.
In this case it was Gone, Grab, Port, Rocket, and Pineapple. But I think Pineapple technically I didn't have to get because I think you just get it for free in the Helm Barrel that I was doing.
Yeah, yeah, you do. I don't think I bought pineapple, and I did Helm.
Yeah, that was an excess buy.
One thing that I did not realize until I was about to go into Helm was that I didn't have peanuts. So, but it's like, well, it only really helps for the Kremlin barrel. It's not a huge issue, so I just had to run around and roll into all the Kremlins.
Right. Yeah, there's still plenty of time to do that.
Yeah.
I think Mumbo's going for Castle 101%. Getting all the medals.
Castle is quite a level to go for all medals.
I know he has DK, Lanky, and Diddy. I don't know
I
if
saw
he
him
knows
collecting
that much.
chunky stuff, so I mean, I guess the thing
That's
is
not
like
collecting
if you're
what
gonna
tiny
go
stuff.
deep in a level to get a medal, you tend to like go to these, back rooms that have stuff for each Kong. So it's like might as well also work on the other Kong's medals
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
if I'm already gonna like scour the whole level. So it's kind of a trap when you decide to put that much time into a generally slow level in the first place.
Yeah, I think I would have been much better off. I got, besides the 5 medals in Helm, I got DK and Tinies in Castle, but I think I would have probably been much better off just to get 2 medals in Factory. Because I think the 2 medals in Castle are what cost me a lot of time.
Yeah, when I want to go for fast medals, Lanky and Diddy and Factory are good choices, and there's like almost every medal in Japes is really good.
Except Tinies, I guess.
Yeah, Tiny's, I guess if you get Skew, like she gets 30 bananas for free in the stumps, and then Beehive has some more. So it's not that bad, but it's a
not
bit
that
more of an
bad, but
investment.
yeah.
I would agree that she's the worst in Japes, but she's still faster than a bunch of other options in other levels.
True.
Especially if you're already getting a bunch of Japes medals, you can also take the time to do hers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just this time around. Normally, when it's just like, oh, what medals are fast, I wouldn't think Helm, but because Helm has fast fairies and a fast key, it made
Yeah,
sense to do
that
it
was
there.
my reasoning because I wouldn't have did it just for the medals. But when I was thinking of like, okay, what key and what fairies am I going to get? Because I already had the 2 keys for Dogadon, and then I'm like, well, I guess I could do Helm because I could get my last 2 fairies there and my last key. So, and then I probably wouldn't have did Helm Battle Crown, but I was gonna have to enter another level just for the Battle Crown. So I'm like, well, I guess even though it's a long Battle Crown, it's probably quicker to just get the one in Helm while I'm there.
I had the exact same thought. It was like either Helm or Fungi, and it's like I don't even need to enter Fungi, so it'll be
Yep.
Helm because I'm already doing the Blastomatic Room stuff. I did fall in one crown. I think it was the Caves crown. Classic Caves crown being the hardest one.
Yeah. Okay, so
Oh, interesting. Romulus doing key 3. I did think about key 3 over key 1 because I knew I'd have to be, in the arcade room at some point, and I was going to have Monkey Port anyway, but I decided to do key 1 instead.
someone else did key 3. I think it was Jeff or TKettle. I think it was Jeff.
No, yeah, I didn't do it. All I did was the 2 Dogadons and Helm.
I don't know if Romulus is doing this for 5 or for 7. Don't think you do key 3 for 3 keys. That's definitely not the case. I could see you doing it for 5, especially if you didn't do 7 early on. I could also see people doing like key 4 so that they don't have to do fungi early for this challenge. Since fungi, lobby, and fungi both are like decent crown options.
Mm-hmm. I think Jeff and Romulus are both getting their final keys. Pretty sure I saw Jeff having 6 keys earlier, so I doubt he would go for more than 7.
Commercial break in
And
progress.
Mumbo might
Well,
be done soon with medals and blueprints. So I think it actually might be a pretty close race between all 3 of them.
mhm. There's Jeff on the race time.
Nice.
I guess that key was his last thing. 9 fairies, 3 medals, 7 keys, 5 crowns,
5th place finish for
Yep.
him.
GG.
11 blueprints,
So we ended up
21
having
keys. Okay.
right. We ended up having 9 racers and 2 people forfeited. So if everyone finishes, we're gonna have 7 times.
Oh, do you count only finishes, not entrance for
For
the point distribution, I guess?
for races, we're not counting DNFs. For like counter ones, we can just include how many they got.
Yeah.
Dang.
Makes sense, yeah.
My third
Well,
place
sort of.
would have been worth more if we counted the 2 DNFs.
Gotta gotta go bully Zerolda into finishing this round.
Yeah, on the one hand, it's like, well, if the challenge was that hard that people didn't finish it, then like that should count more for the people who did finish it. But on the other hand, like people who joined that don't really like have the ability to finish the round, impacting it is not good either.
It hurts.
Morning.
Morning.
My spine.
Congrats on finishing, Jeff.
My routing was so bad.
I can relate.
At what point did you decide the distribution of numbers?
I decided I knew I wanted golden bananas to be the most and blueprints to be the second most because you got to turn in the blueprints for them to show up on the counter.
Agreed. Yep.
And then I was kind of waffling between crowns, keys, and fairies. And then I was like, oh, fairies are easiest out of those three, so fairies are next. Nintendo
Agreed.
coins
Yeah,
got to be one. Because otherwise you're trying to do 15 medals.
Is that
Which
hold
is
on? Is
not
that
dumb.
Romulus done? I think Romulus is done.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
He hasn't.
But then I was
done
like,
so.
He hasn't finished
then I was like, oh my god, I'm getting 7 boss keys, and I skipped getting key 2, and I skipped getting key 7
Oh.
while doing Castle Kongs.
Sorry,
Wow.
Romulus isn't done. He doesn't have Nintendo Coin.
That'll be his last, I guess.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh,
Skipping P2
he didn't know he had to
is
do the
not
B
good on
blast.
this challenge, yeah. Oh, I also forgot about the B blast. I collected the GB and then went back down and then went back up.
Nice shooting at the spot where it should be.
Yeah,
Oh.
Jeff, I think all of us did the GBs most, then blueprints, and then fairies. But then it was the others that there was some variation.
Yeah,
so Jeff,
7 boss keys wouldn't have been so bad if I hadn't needed to go back to hashtag and back to Castle. Because I was like, oh my god, what have I done?
Yeah. What
Yeah, I
did you
think most people went
consider
for
7
either 3 or
crowns,
5.
5 keys instead?
Yeah, I did 5 crowns, 7 keys, 3 medals.
I mean, when you realized that like you were short a couple of keys, did you consider doing 5 keys, 7 crowns instead of
No,
5 crowns, 7 keys?
because I hate crowns more than I hate bosses.
Fair enough.
Wait,
So
does
that
Mumbo
was the
look
only
like I
difference
don't
between
know?
our orderings. But
Gotcha.
yeah, because I also only got 3 medals. I thought they were longer than either the average crown or the average key, but
Yeah, definitely.
Candy Boots and TeaKettle thought otherwise and got more crowns, or sorry, more medals and fewer keys and crowns. And I'm actually thinking that they might have been correct.
Interesting.
But
TeaKettle, how many medals did you go for?
7. I only
Gotcha.
did 2 regular medals, and then I did all of Helm, so I got 5 medals there.
Oh, I keep on forgetting about the helm medals because I went up there for key 8 and the 2 fairies.
I
And I
only
had
got medals in Helm. I didn't get any bananas anywhere else.
Gotcha.
I, on
even
the
went
other
to
hand,
extra time
exclusively did 7 banana medals.
excellent.
Yeah, same here.
That's what's up.
I even had some extra helm time from turning in blueprints. It sucks.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't just like at least do all 5 medals in Helm and then do 2 fewer. No, wait, no, because 5 is only good for keys. I don't want to have to do 7 keys.
Yeah,
Romulus just joined.
7 keys was
Oh,
gross.
More
Yeah,
Romulus.
now if I'm gonna do more medals, I have to do 7 for it to make sense. Morning.
Arcade was the end of Romulus, unfortunately.
I understand this, what's happening on stream right now.
The arcade
I
machine.
think the last time I did arcade was like 15 years ago. So
Well,
it.
it is actually the case that Mumbo is working towards doing jetpack.
Yeah, Mumbo was talking about getting 15 medals.
Oh, he isn't just talking about it.
He's
He
doing
is
it.
doing it, yeah.
We're making it happen.
I think that's every single medal in Castle now. He's probably getting the greenhouse crown, maybe? Or he just needed the medal.
Oh, yeah, I guess I can go and watch now.
Oh, I guess it would be interesting to ask, did anybody else kind of predict from the hint that it would be something like this? Because I had a pretty good idea that it was something like this.
Yeah, you had mentioned
My
something
idea was
being
totally
like
different.
you'd mentioned it being like the stuff on the reels instead of like it actually being a bonus barrel.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was going to be like everything from the totals menu, but at least like seeing keys, crowns, fairies, and GBs, it's like half of what's there, so it isn't that much of a leap to think it might include the others.
Yeah, that was some good thinking.
I thought that it may have to do with like items related to the slots that are on Batty Barrel Bandits. So like I thought you would have to get my idea for the challenge was like 4 or 5 melon crates in a row, and then you have to do 4 or 5 coconut switches, grape switches, pineapple switches, and you can't do any coconut switches until you finished all the melon crates or something like that. Like you have to finish one before you finish the other.
I like that as a concept.
That's interesting, yeah.
I didn't think about making the connection between like grapes and coconuts would be hitting switches of those types, but it makes sense.
So in preparation, I wrote the entire list of all the melon crates, all the coconut switches, all the grape switches. And I was opening up the thing, I was so confident, and then it was like, oh, completely different. Awesome.
Maybe if the illustration had the original, icons from Batty Barrel Bandit instead of, keys, and crowns and stuff. I figured that was the hint, was that the images had changed to something else. I did think that it might be not just GBs, but bonus barrel specific GBs that would be required, which actually would make a pretty interesting, slightly harder version of the challenge. Then your blueprints collected would be like, independent from your bonus barrel number. But I guess maybe you rejected that idea because you can't easily track on the totals like how many bonus barrels you did.
How many GBs did everyone end up with? Did you count right and do 13, or did you end up having more?
I had 27.
I had 19.
I had 21.
27 is kind of rough. I had 13.
My entire route was kind of rough.
Well, I was like, I had already collected a couple of GBs, a couple of easy GBs by the time I realized that if you're doing the lowest odd numbers and you're doing 13 GBs and 11 blueprints, you only need 2 GBs.
Correct.
I did not. It took me way too long to realize that, and I was like, oh crap. Yeah, we
And
got
one of those GBs is going to be the arcade round 1. So
yes, exactly. There you go.
I knew like I would really only get one other GB. But at some point I realized like, well, it's not the end of the world if I end up wanting to do like say spinning wheel fairy, which adds a GB, because I just need to get one other GB, like free chunky and factory or something, and then I'm back to an odd number, so it's fine. So I was kind of prepared to do 15 if I ended up picking a fairy that is behind a GB, but I avoided doing that.
Gotcha. I will say doing all the randos probably prepared Mumbo well for this. At least for like CB locations.
No,
Unless he plays with
random
custom CB
CB, yeah.
locations.
Right.
Man, I'm really wishing the challenges were swapped. If we had the challenge for the number 1 challenge for today, I would have excelled much more at that one.
We just came to an executive decision that DNFs for races are all going to get 1 point, so everyone who actually finished will still get the amount.
Nice. I'm very happy to hear that.
Yeah,
Is it the amount for 9?
But yeah.
Yeah, so there are 9
Oh.
entrants in the race, so regardless of the DNFs, you still get like the amount of points that you get for your placement on a race with 9 people.
Okay, so it's not like out of fewer people.
No.
TJ actually messaged me saying like there's actually a way to abuse the rules, like because he didn't place that well in the race, so he's like, if I choose to actually forfeit, then I end up giving like my opponents fewer points and
Yeah.
possibly giving me a better chance of
touche.
beating them.
I don't think
So,
anyone would do that, but still, you never know.
Yeah, that was kind of like I wasn't thinking of it in that way, but I was thinking in the sense that like if a challenge is really tough for some people, then
mhm.
that shouldn't like reward less the people who were able to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And let me tell you, there
Um,
were a couple times. There were a couple times toward the end where I was thinking about setting the controller down, just because I had routed stuff so weirdly.
About halfway through, I did look again at the rules and thought to myself, 2 hours is definitely a tough limit, and yeah, I know we
Mhm.
didn't stick to it, but
Yeah, the like I said, the limit was put there because we had in mind that we wanted every challenge to last 2 hours at most, so that people would
Mhm.
that they don't have to like they don't have to set aside more than 2 hours for the.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I
yeah,
appreciate you extending it a little bit though.
I think like it makes sense in terms of the desired length, but in this challenge, I thought it was like in cases where you're gonna put a time limit, you generally want to give like partial credit, but I wasn't sure how you were gonna do partial credit because someone could
Yeah.
have like
Right.
done like 6 crowns already, and it's like they just didn't have time for their seventh crown, so like all that progress is not counted or what? It's like
Mhm.
Yeah.
partial credit's weird for this one.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna look at the list again, but I think this might have been the only challenge in which we gave a time limit, but not like a clear outline for partial credit. So
Gotcha.
We'll fix anything up for future ones like
Wait,
that.
is it? Or is Romulus still trying, or is his stream just a little bit behind?
Oh, I have DNF'd, but now I'm just trying for the memes.
Is
Oh,
that the
perfect.
only thing you have left to do?
Yeah, I have everything else but the arcade coin.
We
Yeah.
got
You
I
could
mean, you
still beat Mumbo, I guess.
yeah, you can still undo your DNF and
I don't think we gave you any information that changed the
No,
outcome on your part if it was just the arcade remaining, so
no.
Yeah.
Unless you tell me
unless
how to beat arcade.
Be a crazy comeback.
unless telling you that it's harder to get the extra life in round one, if that was giving you anything away, but I'm sure you knew that, so.
It's bold of you to assume that I know anything about arcade.
Yeah, that's the one really good thing about NLE is not having to do either coin.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And that's the one rough thing about glitchless.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got 15 medals. He's just going for jetpack now.
nice.
He's done everything else.
Arcade versus jetpack, who wins?
Hurry, Romulus.
Jetpack easy.
Oh
There's still
gosh.
time. If you just believe.
I considered doing 15 medals at one point, but by the time I got to 5, I was like, there's no way I'm doing 10 more of these. And my routing was just not good for colored bananas at all.
Yeah, I find it funny
Mm.
that they only give you one life for arcade, but then they give you like 3 lives for jetpack.
Yeah. Like they wanted arcade to be extra hard for some reason.
They knew which one of the two games they wanted you to hate more.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because jetpacks are rare original, right?
Yeah,
Exactly. So they're like, we love jetpack. You can play it as much as you want.
I'm already down to one life.
Maybe they just thought people would like have more experience playing the DK cabinet or something
Maybe.
before coming
Like
to this game.
you assume you're a DK fan or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe it's more so that they probably intended you to find more enjoyment in jetpack and like go to the harder levels of it, whereas we always just do the first level, so.
Yeah. Because
Right.
I feel like
Jetpack
everything
is
after
hard on the other levels.
I remember I used to go to the later levels, and I would always get Nintendo Coin on level 2. Because like you just get to 5,000. Like there's no way you reach level 3 by the time you have 5,000 points.
Yeah.
Is that GG for Mumbo? Yep.
There we go.
Oh, thank God.
There you go.
GG.
You can still keep going
Alright.
if you want, Romulus.
On a
To get more.
scale
Oh,
of
I'm good. I'm
It would
good.
still give you points, but yeah.
on a scale of 1 to 15 medals, how mad do we think he's gonna be when he hops into the call?
14 medals.
Like 14.3.
11. I don't know. Mumbo's not really a mad person.
Morning.
Morning.
Hello.
Morning.
GG.
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 Hey, Mumbo.
That was a good time.
So I think you might be the only person with 17, but you're not the highest number we saw. We saw a 21.
Really? What happened?
I got 19 GBs. I
And why was
forgot.
that?
I forgot I was getting I got like 5 or 6, and that was before I realized that you had to actually turn in all your blueprints. So then
Yeah,
that
I was
added up a
forgetting
lot.
I had 21.
That's rough. So what do we think?
I think it's a rough challenge if you don't want to do arcade.
I think I mean I think it's a really good challenge, but arcade completely ruined it for me. Yeah, I mean that's my own fault. It's a skill issue, but
Yeah, we were talking about that. Just how, if you're not used to like speedrunning and doing arcade like on a regular basis, it's really hard.
Yeah, it can be really rough.
I don't remember. Did they make quality of life changes for the arcade and the rando in the standard settings?
Oh, there are tons.
Giving
you
more
only
lives.
do 2 phases and you have 5 lives.
Ah, yeah, that's a big difference.
Quite the big difference. I mean, I recognized pretty early on that arcade was the way to go. But I did it like 4 or 5 times, and I was like, okay, I don't want to sit here for an hour. I'd like to actually finish. And then about an hour and a half in, I was like, these medals are a lot longer than I remember them being. So
Yeah, the
Yeah.
fastest time to get the rare coin and nothing else is an hour and 10 minutes. So
yikes.
Dang.
I think it's 112 is the record right now. It's not like super optimized, but it takes at least an hour for sure.
And
Just
that's roughly the time that I got in this challenge, so it definitely is a long time.
submit
relative to
this to the
everything
memer
else.
boards as my 1 rareware coin time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
221, not terrible.
You could get like 5 or 6 bananas and give me 5 or 6 bananas by improving my
nice.
placement.
Perfect.
Well, I guess if everyone finished, actually, we could post the hint
Yeah.
for Saturday's challenge.
I'll put it on stream and I'll post it in the challenge series thing.
I'm being honest.
Oh,
I
golly.
am very excited for Saturday's challenge.
So am I. I think this
Aw,
is the
man.
one we're really looking
it-
forward to.
Is it Lanky's delivery service? Please. That would, would be so fun.
Were there any interesting optimizations anybody made? Was there anything particularly noteworthy that's worth mentioning?
The biggest difference in terms of like how to choose between like which thing to get fewer or more of was like Jeff and I think went with like just 3 medals each.
Oh,
So you did 5
and
keys?
so I did 5 keys, 7 crowns, and I think he did
Oh.
like 5 crowns, 7 keys. And
Yep.
Oh
then
my
Candy
lord.
and TKettle both, I think, got 7 medals. Like they
Right.
jumped that way above to get only 3 keys and 5 crowns.
Yeah, that was my plan, was 3 keys, 5 crowns, 7 medals. What made you guys do more bosses? Are they just actually that much faster than I think they are?
They're pretty fast.
I just really don't like medals.
Yeah.
same.
Well, I don't like medals anymore, I'll tell you that much.
Oh,
I looked at the meme board time for like 5 medals and 10 medals. Also compared it to like all boss keys and 10 crowns, which are both on the meme boards,
Uh-huh.
to try to get a sense of, in a vacuum, which one might be faster. And I don't know if I came to the correct conclusion. I don't think I did. But maybe in a vacuum, medals are on average slower.
That's
Although I
crazy.
think, given the synergy possibilities, maybe it does make more sense to get more medals and fewer keys, crowns. At least fewer crowns, because doing 7 crowns was kind of a slog for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't mind 7 keys, but that was mostly because I'm used to getting them from NLE.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Right.
All right, what do you think of this
mean-
image, guys?
Ooh, actually, I jokingly said bird watching challenge, but looking
Could
at the
be.
looking at the background behind the monkey, it's like a drawing, like a child's drawing. So I wonder if it's like you're trying to find artwork in the world.
Oh.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Definitely, yeah, I definitely see the bird watching outfit kind of vibe. So, how many
Or like
birds
Beam on
are in the
snap.
game? I mean, you've got like Squawk, the owl, the vultures. There could be something there.
Is it Squawks Talks too?
Maybe.
The squawks just got talkier.
I think
Squawk.
I think I'm gonna have to brush up on some obscure knowledge before Saturday.
Squawk Stocks 2, get every Squawks text. Every
Yeah.
single one.
We're here for 6 hours.
Even the like, do you need help? Yeah.
It's funny, we were joking about what was it, DK Snap earlier, but this like has that vibe.
We
Yeah,
did just have a camera challenge, though.
Exactly. Like so
we
it
get
can't be
another
that
camera
again.
challenge so soon.
Can't be another camera challenge again.
I think this
Wait
next
a
this
sec.
go ahead, Candy Boots.
This may involve sniper scope.
It might, yeah,
okay.
because of the
With the
zooming in.
binoculars, I like what you got going on.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're getting something akin to the literacy challenge, but slightly different. Like
Every
you're
word in alphabetical order.
well, I'm just thinking like finding something obscure in the world, like not necessarily words, but like the drawing. It looks like a crayon drawing behind the monkey, so it almost
Yeah, and
looks.
I'm looking at the blue and green, and I'm like, is that like a world map kind of thing, or is that like on top of a palm tree with a sky behind it?
That's what I'm thinking.
The palm tree with sky, yeah.
Ooh,
And
what if it's like Chunky's delivery service, but you have to like find certain, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that
certain
was
images.
kind of what in BTCS the original like Chunky's delivery service idea came from, just like recreate these photos, right? And
Mhm.
you know, Chunky's delivery service was that, but with the
Plus boulder
boulders and
tech, yeah.
pickupples in particular. So it might just be a more generic version of that, where we might get like really zoomed in pictures of things, and we have to go find them.
Ooh.
find this
That's
exact
where the
brick
sniper scope
picture.
comes from.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, time to spend like 3 hours every evening just slowly wandering around the worlds.
Studying every texture.
Yep, memorizing each texture in the
Oh
game.
god. I'm hoping it
know-
has something to do with either birds or like animals around the game.
I know what I'm doing Friday night.
All right, I think that should.
Very fun.
That
Yeah.
was fun,
should be it.
guys.
That was
Right
fun.
on.
I'm glad I stuck through it.
Yeah, it's good to
Okay.
finish.
Thanks
Yeah.
everyone for playing.
Thanks for
See ya.
playing. Thanks everyone
Thanks
for
for hosting.
watching.
Yeah.
And Mornin.
Have a good one, guys.
Good night.
Right.